Welcome to episode 9 of Fables from the Pickled Quipper. I am a Master of Dungeons, Phil. And where last we left off, my power died. Which was very unfortunate and led to an incredibly short episode. To compensate you for that, we now have a bumper episode featuring the adventurers going to Buffin's Tor to follow up on a request to cleanse the area of undead. That should be fine. No problems.
Let's see, where last we left off, what happened?
Yeah, there was quite the unenjoyable breakfast at the Bucket of Blood. Cosette didn't eat her cheese.
The floor cheese?
But
We tried as much as we could.
Before it hit the floor cheese? Seems a little judgmental, but okay.
Weren't we? I think we even talked to the guys at the temple, and we were on the verge of leaving, weren't we?
Yeah, we investigated the remains of the Quipper.
Oh, that's right, we were at the Quipper.
well, we did find out that the whole not bandit, but the ones we got attacked by was suspicious because they didn't have any like rank insignia.
Well then, should we carry on then? The journey is fairly straightforward as you continue down the sort of the coastal path. And from the Pickled Quipper, you can see like the hill with the tower on top. It's still quite a ways off, but it's visible in the distance. It's the highest point for quite a ways around. Beyond it, you see the forest just sort of spreads out. Not quite sure if it's just a trick of the light or if there's something more going on, but certainly the woods closer to the Tor look a little bit grim.
When you say darker, do you mean more thick, or they just have a more ominous look?
Make a nature check.
Why do I always make the mistake of asking questions when I'm...
With disadvantage for distance.
Sorry.
Could just be some weird way the clouds are hitting it, sort of blocking off some of the sunlight. Or it may actually be gloomier over there, but from this distance, you can't tell. Another couple of hours pass as you continue down the road. As you get closer, you can see it's definitely not a trick of the light. Something is amiss. The ground is a little less green here. The trees there's more shadows than there should be. And looks like some of the leaves on the deciduous trees are already starting to turn, despite it being a little bit early for that. Lacking in vitality. There's not really a path that leads up to the tower anymore. It hasn't really been trekked much of late. From the road, it's that'd be a couple of 100 yards, so it's not a long way off the road by any stretch. Anything you want to do before you climb the hill?
Recap.
Yeah,
Okay.
I feel like we should remember what we're looking for and what we might expect.
Sure. You spoke with the priest, Kelly, in the shrine to Moradin, and he's concerned that it even stretches into the forest beyond, which you can see now that you're closer, that there is indeed a certain sense that whatever's going on here is affecting the forest. And so from the road, as you look up, there's like I said, it's about 200 yards. There's a very manageable hill up, but the hill stands taller than the rest of the land around it, and there's a slightly odd-shaped tower on top. Dwarven construction, so solid stone walls. No windows visible from the road. There's also no doors facing the road.
Is this a former temple, or was it a fortification?
This was a temple. It was sort of like an old, like a historic shrine to Moradin, dating back probably a good couple of centuries. So it has a lot of age to it. As Delsmer got more and more sizable, there was less need for the roadside shrine like this, and so it eventually sort of fell out of favor. you would know that some dwarves like to take a sort of a little pilgrimage out there every now and then just to kind of remind themselves of their roots and pay their respects to the old ways of doing things. But it's I mean that hasn't been the practice for several decades at this point.
I am going to go ahead and kick this off. I'm going to use Primeval Awareness
Okay.
to see if I can sense any undead in the area.
Okay, dokie. You detect undead, fae, dragons.
Hang on, Phil, are you reading out the options of things you could detect, or are you saying we detect all those things?
Nope, those are all detected.
Oh, boy.
Give me 1 second. Ooh, that's a prairie warbler.
Phil, concentrate.
Okay, yeah, I think that's all you get right now.
Okay, well, I'll let out a heavy sigh as I'm
We don't
staring
really
at-
notice because you do that all the time.
I
We
know,
don't really
but
register it.
I'll looking at
Everyday
the tour,
occurrence.
I'll just say there's a lot of nasty stuff up that way.
Well, what do you mean, nasty?
I was kind of expecting the undead based upon what we were told, but possibility of a dragon and possibly some fae as well.
I'm sorry. Did you say a dragon?
Yeah.
Well, there's still plenty of time for us to get back to town. If we want to just turn around and maybe forget about all this.
That is most curious. Are there known dragons in the area?
Do I know anything about that, Phil?
Give me a history check.
12.
You're not specifically aware of dragons in the area. You do know that there's talk about the woods, that there may be, the fact that fae are pinging off your radar is not a surprise. And you're certainly close enough to the woods that picking one up is not unreasonable at all. You would guess that the spell does not give you direction or count, I don't believe.
No, it's not.
Just let you know, hey, this is a thing.
I'll ask Silverius, is your little dragon fella coming back anytime soon?
Given the distance to my home, could be unlikely.
Does the tower look, in and of itself, capable of holding anything big? That big?
The wall that you can see at the moment is maybe only about 30 feet across. Ceiling is maybe 15, 20 feet, in height. Certainly doesn't seem like it would hold a large creature up there.
How tall are the trees out in the woods that we can see? Like,
Varies. Some of them are massive. As you kind of move between the evergreens and the deciduous, it kind of switches height. It's very mixed wood. It's an ancient forest, though. It's these are all very old, established trees.
Pardon, are you certain that such creatures lie ahead?
Unless there's some weird magic I don't know about, which is possible because I don't know much about that stuff. But my senses are telling me that there's those creatures lie somewhere within a mile radius or so.
But they could be off to the side, out to sea, or in the woods, as much as in front of us, right?
Even underground.
Yes.
Could be.
Forgive me, Bardo. Does your ability allow you to discern whether they are good or evil?
No, I don't really have that capability.
I doubt there is such a thing as good dragons anyway. They should all probably be...
Mind your words.
there's a real stern look on Silvarius' face.
Oh, present company excluded, of course.
And more. You will not dishonor the grandfather of dragons.
Is that what you call yourself?
Not I.
Oh, sorry.
You cannot say you do not know the great Marduk, Bahamut, great-grandfather.
I believe I may have heard the name.
I'm certain you have. You are no fool. Stop acting like one.
She just gives him a cold look.
It's awkward, it's very awkward.
I'm gonna
Some frost
Anyway.
floats out of Savarius'
Yeah.
mouth.
I'm gonna start flanking left, just kind of get a different look of the
Okay.
tour. So,
Sure, yeah, you can do that.
okay.
Make a perception check as you sort of flank.
14.
Okay. You going left or right?
I'll go left.
Okay. So as you peel off to the left, there's a couple of trees that are near the top of the hill that do obscure your view a little, but you can see the wall. It then turns a corner, and then there's a weird indentation, and you think you can see a door on that side. The wall kind of goes in a little bit. You got the door, and then there's a long straight piece of wall that juts out again. Well, I think it's just easier if I show you at this point. So let's
curious.
do that.
It's an anvil.
Yeah, it's an anvil.
Oh yeah, so it is.
How
Very
dwarvy.
dwarfy.
Yeah.
Dwarves are not subtle.
Acme Labs.
Just north of this structure is a little hammer building.
Yep. It's an outbuilding.
You guys, what do you like? The base of the anvil, if you will, that's what's facing the road. And so as you peel off, you're kind of looking through those trees, and you can see the door on the left.
We're not far from the sea still, right?
No, not particularly. The
So-
road roughly follows the coastline, give or take. As you're looking, the sea is behind you. The
Okay.
anvil in front of you, and then beyond the anvil lies the forest.
Okay. Probably not important, but I like to have it in my brain a little bit.
Yeah.
Especially in case we need to make a hasty retreat.
Are you guys, other guys, going to do anything at this time? Like, are you all just happy kind of being clustered together, the other four of you?
No.
Okay.
When you say stuff like clustered together, it makes me worry.
Well,
Okay,
There is actually just a little puff of dust running back to town.
I will kind of. I'm gonna head off to the right of the building.
okay.
I'm gonna attempt to go quietly and softly. I'm just gonna kind of like motion. I'm having a quick look. I just kind of point to my eyes and wander over there.
Make a perception check and a stealth check.
Okay. Now you said it's shadowy. Is it particularly shadowy near here?
Not particularly.
Right. Perception. I don't see anything.
Okay. I mean, you can see the door there.
5 stealth. We've got a 13.
What's everyone else doing at this time?
Savarius stopped as Eska walked off, and he just kind of watched her.
In my armor, I'm just trying not to move.
Okay.
Yeah. Claire is gonna kind of hide behind. She's gonna use Silverius as a shield and just stand behind him.
I will kind of like turn back and sort of motion at opening door and point as well.
Okay.
Do I understand what you're saying, or do I think you're trying to like tell people to kill me again?
Make an intelligence check. Just straight intelligence.
Is this a counter roll to his performance?
Actually, yes. Eska, do performance. The better your performance, the lower the intelligence DC.
Nice.
Ooh, you better
boy,
roll.
8.
Oh, that was the performance?
Yeah,
Oh boy.
performance of 8. I think I've only rolled under 5 so far, apart from the one that didn't count.
So 12 on the intelligence. Well, conveniently, yes, you understand.
Okay.
That was close.
I should have taken proficiency in mime.
Well, it's only 250 downtime days to learn a new proficiency, so.
Okay.
Yep, you can now both see that there's doors on either side. The other three are sort of clustered down there. Sorry, I keep saying clustered. That must have you concerned. The other three are grouped down there. You also can see that Eska's kind of indicating that there's a door. Bardur, do you also let them know that there's a door?
Yeah. I'll kind of do the point at my eyes and point toward the door.
Give me
Give me a stealth check with disadvantage then.
Oh,
21.
So despite not even really trying, you're the rest of you, the three down there, you can see that Eska's like really trying to be stealthy, but you can still kind of hear her tracking through. Like she kicks a couple of rocks and stuff. If you weren't looking at Bardor, you'd have no idea he was there. And it just seems to be the most easy and natural thing for him to do, despite not even really putting in effort.
my problem is that I'm trying to stealth while also stomping angrily away from Silverius. It's
Right.
a very tricky combination.
Very difficult balance. Yeah.
Stealth stomps.
Yeah.
Hard to master.
Okay, so what do you want to do?
I'm going to return initially. See what the group wants to do before I do anything silly.
Yeah, I guess I'll do the same. See, I guess we'll go back.
You can do something silly if you like.
Not really my way, thanks.
Kind of you to offer.
So I guess we share the news.
Yes. Very
So,
cool.
2 doors. Fantastic.
Did they look? I know I rolled low on perception, so you can not answer this if you like. But did they look sort of openable? Were they kind of wood doors, or were they like what were we looking at here?
Looked like a pretty heavy stone door. You couldn't see any
door.
locks.
Can you tell if this building has been in use recently, or do you see any tracks that may clue us in?
Was that towards me? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me check. If I may.
Yeah, survival, please.
18.
You think maybe there was a faint trail leading from your door out towards the woods, but it's not a very strong trail. Whether that means it's only been lightly used or if it just hasn't been used in a while, harder to tell.
Okay. Well, I mean, if we want to go in, I guess we just pick a door.
Are we going in as a group?
I think we should.
I fear this is not an easy place to sneak into, so perhaps strength in numbers is the way.
If we're in a group, I can at least maybe give us a heads up on where any of the undead might be. It's only within 30 feet, so they might, if they're fast, they might reach us, but it might at least give us a couple seconds.
Can it pierce the walls?
To be honest, I've not really tried it out that much, but I do think if the stone is more than a foot, it won't go through. It might be better for me to cast it when we're actually inside.
Sounds like we have a course of action.
Go ahead and start walking that way, attempting to be quiet.
Let's do renewed stealth checks for the party. Disadvantage if you are in heavy armor.
17.
Yeah, that's about what I thought.
2!
5.
19.
3.
Yeah, that's pretty much in keeping with type. Okay.
Might as well knock now.
It just sounds like a Jingle Bell choir coming off. Just reindeer outside.
And it's pretty clear with something like this that the three heavily armored folks are just jangling along. So you know that despite your best efforts, you're not being as quiet as you perhaps would have hoped. Which door are you going to, left or right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, Silverius went first, so I guess we're following. I'm gonna try and stay towards the back. Bow at the ready.
Anyone else?
I mean, we know there's supposed to be trouble.
Before you open the door?
Claire claps her hands together softly and says a couple words in Sylvan, and then holds her hands out and cast Detect Evil and Good.
So you are concentrating. Okay. So as you cast that and you're standing there, you do feel like beyond that door, because the door is not more than a foot thick. You do feel like there is an undead presence beyond the door.
Silverius,
What?
I think there's one right beyond the door.
I will clarify, since it does say you know where it is. You can't see where it is, obviously, but you know that it is
through the door and sort of like off to the right. Like it's right about sort of about 30 feet away from you right now. So 25 feet away from Silverius.
She kind of closes her eyes, like while she's holding her hands out, and says, "I think it's off to the right. Maybe only about 25 feet.
Just one?
That's all I can sense, but it is only within 30 feet. There could be more beyond it."
Do we know which way the door opens?
Silverius, as you look at the door,
Yes.
it is dwarven construction. Well, Spencer will remember these from some of our other games. It actually center pivoted, top and bottom. You have to push it open and the whole door spins. And
A revolving door?
like it's a revolving door. As yet, you don't know if it's possible to open it, but you can just see, looking at the door, there's no hinge on the sides.
Gonna reach out and applies a little bit of pressure to see if it gives any movement.
Yeah, just give it a little nudge. And, I mean, looking at it, this is a big hunk of stone here. And yet, the door, with very little effort on your part, gives. Like, you don't open it, you feel that there's no tension.
Okay. So Varys kind of like just looks back at the party as the door budges a little bit. If I can crack the door open and just listen.
Okay, make a perception check.
That's an 8.
So what you hear, some sort of fire burning, but that's it right now.
When we approached, was there smoke coming out?
No, this doesn't sound like a large fire.
I'm actually just gonna go ahead and push the door open and step in.
As you walk through, here's what you see. In front of you, there is a large brazier, large fire pit that has a fire active in it. Coals are glowing vibrantly. Off to your right, there is a weapon rack with 2 or 3 dusty-looking weapons. Beyond that, what looks like stairs descending down. There is a rusty suit of armor next to the forge and anvil in that far corner. To your left, you have an altar with 4 lit candles, and there appear to be cobwebs throughout, but especially in the bottom left and bottom right corners as you look at it. The forge is active. There is a fire within the forge, pulsing and radiating. You do not see any movement beyond yourself and the fire at present.
I'm going to kind of lean back out to the door frame and say to everybody else, or I guess with Claire being right there.
Your ability. Can it tell if they're underground?
If the ground isn't too thick, it should.
Yeah, it depends on the thickness of the ground.
Yeah.
So you would know it's on approximately the same height as you, give or take.
It's not underground, it's right there. She kind of just points, like, through the wall.
Triangulating where she's pointing. Can I get a sense of a better area to like peek in, having not seen anything?
Looking kind of vaguely, you think she might be pointing over towards the forge itself. As you kind of look at it, you hear this sort of disturbing laughter, sort of the and a head emerges from inside the forge, and you realize as you look, it's just a skull, and the fire burns within the eyes. It just laughs at you, and I'm gonna need everyone to roll initiative, please.
We found our quarry.
Is the skull's name Bob?
You can ask it on your turn. That will be an action.
A full action, come on.
24.
15 Solarius.
15.
I'm saving all my high rolls for combat, okay? Just that was the plan, so just so you guys... I know it seems like I'm rolling low, but it's all a plan.
Me and Cassette got this worked out. We're saving our good rolls.
Just realized I have to roll 2. Really helps.
I always do that. I
I
get
got a 5 total.
I get halfway through the combat, then I realize I haven't rolled initiative for half the people.
Yeah.
They'll just jump in now.
Hey, look.
Yeah.
Bardor's first. What a surprise.
9 for Eska.
So, Bardor, you're up first. You will have picked up from the conversation that there is a creature on that far right side.
Okay.
That's all you really know at this point.
Will I be able to squeeze in there?
Yeah, absolutely. It'll just be half moving through Severius.
We know it's evil.
I would assume undead is always evil. So, yes, it's undead.
All right, I guess I'm gonna have to run in. I'm just looking at it because, especially with half movement, I'm gonna actually have to I think spend my action to actually get through.
You can get in with 25 feet.
So
Here.
pretty much, I can pop out in one square next to Savarius.
You can be in any one square next to Severius, yes.
Okay. And do I see it?
Yes, you see it. It is hovering from where you're at. It has a small amount of cover. But yes, you do see this glowing skull. Actually, make a brief history check with advantage for me.
7.
Okay. Yeah, you're not sure what this is. Just looks like
Okay.
a floating fiery skull to you.
Okay, well, I'm going to shoot it.
Sure. Seems
Yeah.
seems reasonable.
Okie dokie.
Fire away.
17.
17 hits.
And then I guess I got 7 points of damage off of that.
And what type of damage?
It is pierce.
Piercing. Okay. So you fire your shot. It goes through one fire and then hits the skull pretty much, I was going to say head on, but it doesn't really have much choice. But you do note that the arrow kind of chinks off, and you don't think it did as much damage as you were hoping it would. Anything else for your turn?
No.
Next up then, Claire and Silvarius. You can choose.
You're in the room if you want to go first.
Yeah.
Seems legit.
Seeing the skull, that's my primary focus right now. This giant brazier in the middle also, just quickly, is there, what's burning on the inside of it?
Coal.
Just coal, okay.
Coals, yeah. Seems like a fairly mundane fire from a brief glance.
Well, he's no friend of the environment. Must be evil.
Right now, it's still hunkered down. It hasn't really had a chance to move yet. So half of its head is still obscured.
Savaris is going to run up right there. He's going to clench his fist by his side. And he starts uttering some draconic as ice starts to form around his fist. And he thrusts his hand out to send a ray of frost for a 10.
Yeah, unfortunately that does not hit. It just goes into the forge and you hear the interesting clash of ice and fire, but it does not affect the creature.
That's my turn.
Okay, Claire.
Kind of making a holy gesture with her hands over her chest before going in. She just kind of darts into the room.
Okay, so you go forward. You're 10 feet through the pivoting door. You see what's in front of you, and you can see the creature there now.
Is it just a head, or does it have a body?
So far, all you can see is a head. If you will go ahead and make a religion check.
That would be an 18.
Okay, yeah. You recognize this from your studies. Obviously, you've not encountered this before, but you do recognize it. This is a flame skull. It's literally what it looks like, which is a skull wreathed in flames with fire in its eyes. And you are 100% certain that this is evil and undead.
Well, even though it doesn't look like it has a body, she is still gonna dig out her holy symbol and hold it up in front of her and say some fun little mumbo jumbo and channel divinity with turn undead.
Wisdom saving throw. What's my DC?
13.
Rolled an 18.
Woo! Yeah.
So you see it kind of shudder for a second, and then it actually raises up a bit and laughs some more at you. And it's disturbing because you realize that the lower jaw isn't actually attached to the upper jaw. It's just sort of like hanging there, and as it laughs, it sort of separates and opens and closes without being in contact with the upper part of the jaw at all. You kind of shook.
Yeah, looking pretty disturbed. She's gonna kind of just back a little more into the corner over here.
Okay. Eska.
There's no windows, right?
No windows.
Right.
Just weird, swivelly dwarven doors.
So when I get in, I'm actually just going to use my action to dash to the far corner. So I kind of run in, look around, just try to find some cover before I start anything. That's it.
Sure. Cassette.
I think I can move up next to it without running through the fire. Let's see.
Yeah, you can kind of tiptoe. You don't have to go right through the middle of the fire. You can occupy the square next to it. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, I'm gonna do a little flail uppercut maneuver.
Okay.
Ooh. 12.
12
hot, you guys.
just misses. So you go for your uppercut, and it's almost like your flail causes a slight breeze ahead of it, and it just sort of like pushes past the skull, and you actually think you maybe just clip it a little bit, but it doesn't seem to make any meaningful contact, unfortunately. It's Skull's turn. It's actually gonna fly up and away from you, so Cassette, you get an attack of opportunity here.
I'm not gonna do the uppercut this time.
Here.
That didn't seem to work very
Likes the
well.
look of here.
Oh,
I did the uppercut again.
You did do the uppercut again. Exactly the same result, and unfortunately the same reaction. So Varys, actually, you will get an attack of opportunity if you have a weapon out.
The way that I imagine it, Silvaris probably would have had to sheath his sword to cast the spell with his hand. But I'll punch at it.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, punch.
Just my strength is 18.
Oh yeah, that hits.
So 1 plus 4 damage, bludgeoning.
4 bludgeoning. Okay. Yeah, you as it flashes past you, chuckling and cackling, you just swing out with that right hand and crack it nicely in the cheek, and yeah, you feel that did full damage. And in fact, it stares at you malevolently, and it laughs and laughs, and then it just breathes down into the fire pit there, and you see fire coming out of the skull, and then it just engulfs the room. I'm gonna need everybody to make dexterity saving throw, please.
Oh, 2.
14 for Cassette.
14 for Eska.
17 for Claire.
Good job. 16 for me.
Everybody apart from Silveri saves. On a fail, it deals 27 fire damage. On a pass, it deals 13.
Wait a second.
Those trained in the arcane arts would recognize that as
Painful.
effectively a fireball spell.
It's not ideal.
Bardur, it is your turn.
Okay.
It's basically just hovering right above the ground, so it's still very much within reach. It's sort of basically head height.
Is there a way I'd like to, in theory, put away my bow and bring out one of my hand axes?
You can drop your bow. That would be fine.
I guess I'll do that. I'm going to cast Hunter's Mark on it.
Sure is.
And I am going to be very dwarfy and charge in. 13.
13 just hits. So it's 10 slashing. It did not like that. And you actually chip away part of the skull on the back there as you bring the hand axe down. Like it splutters mid-laugh and just glares at you, the two burning eye sockets boring a stare right into you. Clarence Silverius, you're up.
Are you down or are you still?
Weakened looking, but I'm up.
Okay. You can still. We can continue with you going first if you want.
So Aris is going to holler out real quick to Claire.
Claire, get out of the way.
If you take your turn.
Yep, I'll allow that. You guys are essentially just simultaneous. So, at any point you can do you basically just operate exactly at the same time. So that's fine.
Which way?
Anyway, just move.
And you see Silvarius's mouth has like excess frost start flowing out of it.
Oh dear.
And Claire, as you're sort of taking this in, you look to your right, and the weapons rack is currently burning. None of the stonework is catching alight, but the wood that's in there is going up, and the candles have they're just pools of wax at this point over on the shrine, or the altar rather.
So yeah, she is going to just kind of start running towards Cassette.
Yep.
And maybe end up right about here where the stairs are.
You'd run through its range there,
Yeah.
and it doesn't do anything.
Silvarius is going to step 5 feet closer to the skull with the frost flowing out of his mouth. And he's going to use his breath weapon.
Yeah.
But he's going to, for mechanics, aim it at the skull, and he's going to blast it into the flame and rake it up into the skull in an attempt to try to blow the fire out and hit the skull.
Okay, sure. And you're silver, correct?
Yes, ice.
Yeah.
It's a frost.
Yeah, cold.
breath.
Yeah.
9. 13 DC.
Okay, so it fails the con save. And so you take this big deep breath in and push down, and ice goes down into the fire. The fire pit flows over and extinguishes the flames, and actually pushes some fiery coals up as well. Along, they kind of get carried along with that ice breath into the this flame skull, and as all of this pummels against the skull, you can't see anything briefly because you've got this sort of like spout of ice and flaming coals going towards it. As you stop breathing, you look at the skull, and it seems entirely unaffected.
Oh no.
With that, gonna action surge and second wind.
Yes.
Quick, hit it with that frost breath again.
So I get 9 health back from second wind. And then gonna unsheath my sword and strike out at it.
Alrighty.
18.
Okay, 18 absolutely hits, and you bring this down in a nice arc and slash down onto the other side, the one that Bardor had not hit. And you chip away some more fragments of the skull, and it's looking crumbly. Okay, Claire, you still have an action and a bonus action. Actually, will you make a con save for me, please? DC is going to be 10.
Oh, that is an 8.
All right, you are no longer concentrating.
Well then, she is going to use the last 5 feet of her movement and step forward 5 feet. And she is going to, still clutching her holy symbol from earlier, she is going to utter a divine word and cast Word of Radiance.
Okay, each creature of your choice that you can see within range, 5 feet, must make a con save or take 1d6 radiant damage. Okay. Constitution saving throw. Okay, rolled a 9.
So he failed.
Yep.
It'd be a 13. So 3.
Okay. So you reach out and clutching your little. What is the holy symbol? Is it like just a little unicorn?
Actually, this one would be an Ankh symbol.
Okay.
He has 2.
You grip onto that and you sort of like mutter some words, and there's this little sort of burst of radiant yellow light that comes forth from it, and yeah, it singes the skull, and it looks like it does full damage. Doesn't appreciate that at all.
She makes a triumphant little ha!
Eska, you're up.
Eska's going to stay exactly where she is, and she's going to loose the shot she's had ready for a while. That's going to be a 24. Hey,
24
Nice.
hits.
6 piercing damage.
Okay, so you take your shot, and you were not able to see earlier, but Bardor is very aware as he sees the arrow come in. And what you realize is that trying to hit what is essentially a round object with an arrow doesn't. It's just hard for it to get a proper purchase unless you get a shot just right and lodge it inside the eye socket. You think it's just going to struggle to do full damage, and it flicks off. It does do some damage, just not as much as you were hoping.
I accept that. I don't have any square arrows, so I'm going to have to just go traditional.
Yeah, Cassette, it's your turn. Skull's looking pretty bad right now.
Up. Goes for like a feint uppercut,
Uh-oh.
and then does like an from above like strike instead to see if that works better. Still the flail. And just so we know, now I'm going to start using my good rolls.
Okay.
Get
I
him.
kind of want you to roll a 12 again, even though I know it's bad for us. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, 19.
Knowing that it's looking bad, you go to swing. Was this uppercut again? Did you say?
No, it was a fake uppercut into a overhand, like
Okay, nice.
come down on top of its head.
So you see, as it goes for the fake uppercut, you see the skull mutter something. An arcane ward comes up underneath where you would have hit, and then because you faked out and you swing down, you avoid this arcane shield altogether and crack down right on top of its noggin. Go ahead, roll damage.
Nice. I'm going to Divine Smite.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is it undead or a fiend?
It is very undead. Whew.
Oh,
Okay.
So
Jeez. Nice.
so that's 48. One of them, I guess one of the 3s would be regular damage. And so 16 total.
Okay. So yeah, you swing down, and the flail, like I said, it dodges that shield. The skull just obliterates. There's just shards everywhere. It is re-dead.
Cassette is less angry now.
Well, why didn't you start with that?
I was waiting until I hit it.
Is it gone quiet?
Kind of.
I'm going to pat out the remaining singes on my clothes.
Yeah. Bardor, you had your hunter's mark on it. You've used this spell before and killed creatures. And when that happens, you are aware immediately when that creature dies, because that bond that you have with that creature is severed.
Yeah.
As you concentrate on the spell, as always, just sort of like in the back of your mind, that connection is still faintly tethered. Very, very faintly, but there's something lingering still.
Okay, I'm gonna go pick up my my bow,
Okay.
and I am going to tell the party that I think it's still about. I don't think we fully killed it yet.
Anyone who is proficient in religion, please give me a religion check.
Do I have time while they're discussing that to run over to the stairs and just have a listen?
Yeah, go ahead and make a perception for me.
Okay.
I got a 21 on the religion check.
16 for Claire.
Yeah, you would know, both of you. These creatures are able to essentially pull themselves back together unless they are coated in holy water, or if either the spells Dispel Magic or Remove Curse are cast upon them. Takes approximately an hour, but that would explain why Bardor is still feeling some sort of connection, because while it looks like it's gone, it's still partly there.
Can I sense where it's kind of at all? Because in theory, I have that ability.
It's the remains itself. The presence seems to be within each of the shards. Eska, with your perception roll of
I'm just purely listening.
11, you see and hear some faint crackling sounds. Well, you don't see the crackling sounds. You see faint firelight and hear crackling sounds from beneath.
And I'll just kind of hold my bow out and keep looking downstairs as they do whatever they're going to do.
I certainly hope there's not more. That was unexpectedly painful.
So Varus goes over to the other fire and tries to put it out.
Is it a full-on forge fire in there? Is it like a very, very hot fire, or is it just burning like a regular fire?
It is burning like a forge, though you imagine that's in large part due to the fact that there was a flame skull living in it, and essentially it was happily stoking the flames with its internal combustion and external combustion, for that matter.
I'm gonna kind of just walk up to Eska and Silverius and just kind of touch him on the shoulder and lay on hands them for 5 hit points each.
Eska jumps slightly, but gives you a thankful nod.
And you feel, it's just a light touch, but you feel warmth radiate from Cassette's hand.
It was a firm touch, Phil. It wasn't light.
You feel a
I just
firm
wanted-
touch, and it's no wonder you jump.
An appropriately firm touch.
You feel an appropriately firm touch, and warmth just radiates from Cassette's hand, and you feel rejuvenated. Some of your wounds you can actually see heal up slightly. Blood is staunched.
That's got to bring back bad memories for Silverius, though. That warm feeling.
Do we have any way of dealing with this to finish it off?
We could use holy water, but I don't have any on me. Silverius, you don't happen to carry silver dust on you, do you?
Nay.
What proficiencies do people have? Tool proficiencies.
None.
Brewer's supplies.
Brew us some holy water.
Yeah, Mason's tools.
I could make some nice jewelry.
Claire, make an intelligence check for me.
4.
Oof.
Also known as a 1.
You don't know if there's anything you can do about that, right, Meow?
I'd suggest we be done here within the hour.
I do think everyone could maybe use a little bit of extra help. She is going to cast Aid. So she will cast it on Eska, Cassette, and Silverius took that hit pretty easily earlier.
Hey.
So she's going to give our door.
Hey, thank you.
Silvari is nominated most likely to die. Don't waste a spell.
But yeah, she just kind of takes out a couple pieces of white cloth and kind of knots them, and everyone feels a nice little happy and get their hit point maximum increased by 5 and their current hit points increased by 5 for the next 8 hours.
Nothing seems to be approaching from downstairs as of yet.
Nope.
Eska says, "Do you want me to quick look?"
I'll come to
So the pair of you are going down?
the stealth
Yeah.
brigade.
Just scouting mission to
Yeah.
see a quick look.
This is the room you come down to. 25 foot by 30 foot. Bardor, you're at the sort of like the top of the stairs. Eska, you're at the bottom of the stairs. There's 2 braziers, one either side. There are 3 doors leading off this room. And then to your south, there is a barrier of sorts. There's an archway, and that archway is filled with this multicolored sort of barrier. Make an Arcana check for me.
No creatures that we see.
Not currently, no.
12.
Yeah, you don't know what that is.
I get, if there's no creatures, I kind of get to the bottom and gesture Bardo to keep coming.
Yep.
And then point at the weird thing and shrug. I say, "What is that?"
Bardo, you can give me Arcana with disadvantage, if you want to try and figure it out.
The 10.
Not a clue.
Yeah.
I say
Weird, multicolored Ripley barrier thing.
it looks safe enough in this room. Should we get the others? I'm afraid to open doors.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna run up and just say, next floor looks safe, and I run back down.
Who's going to come down first out of Claire and Silverius?
Silvarius start walking down.
Yeah, Claire has no problem letting him go first.
Silverius, give me an Arcana check.
One coming right at you. That is gonna be 9.
It's weird. Like rippling, multicolored, just seems to be sort of obstructing that archway.
Claire, did you not say you had an interest in extracurricular activities outside of your schooling?
It's not just an interest, it's part of my whole cleric abilities.
Give it a go.
Does this make sense to you?
17.
Okay. So you haven't necessarily seen anything quite like this, but you just looking at it, you get the feeling that, for one thing, you feel like it would be dangerous to walk through. How dangerous is, you're not sure. However, you think that it might be a case of just needing the right item to gain passage through it.
Well, I don't know precisely what it is, but I would recommend that nobody touches it for now. It looks like maybe it's the kind of barrier that if we have a certain item, that it'll grant us passage.
A potential scavenger hunt.
If I have a moment, I'll go and listen at the doors, just to see if there's
Okay.
anything particularly noisy happening behind any of them. They don't look worrying at all, do they? Do they look regular?
Yeah,
Nothing.
all the doors look kind of the same, and
All the
these
doors-
braziers.
The braziers look like braziers.
Okay.
They are emitting a moderate amount of light. Lights up this room, but nothing beyond. The barrier seems to be obstructing light from passing down that corridor. You cannot see through it to see what's down there. Go ahead and make me. Let's get perception rolls for each door. Just tell me which one you're doing.
I'm going to go the one that I'm next to, then I'm going to go down, then I'm going to go across to the one by itself. So first door is a 8.
Okay. Just looking over the door, first of all, you don't see anything amiss. Looks like a door. No obvious lock that you can see. And listening against it, you don't hear anything out of order.
Okay.
Just
In
fairly quiet.
that case, I move on to the second door next to it, which is a 6. Oh dear.
Okay. Dwarven door, no obvious lock. Might possibly hear the faint crackling of more fire, but it's not clear.
Okay. Something that could be fire.
Possibly.
Who knows? Could just be somebody rumpling paper.
Could be rumpling
the door
paper.
across the way. A knife.
Okay. Same thing. Just
Okay.
lean up against it. Again, no. It's just a standard sort of dwarven swivel door. That's all you got.
Eska just apologizes for trying to be an adventurer and leaves.
I mean, you feel you feel like you've done what you could have done.
That's true. I say, there's nothing behind any of these doors to worry about that I can hear.
Insight check.
Maybe-
You can roll.
I'm sure I believe her is the problem.
Yeah, probably do.
Or Silvarius does. Eli doesn't, but
I tell you what. Roll an honor check.
What have I done?
So just roll a d20. So 15.
18.
Yeah, you wouldn't question her on this.
I looked like I was listening at least.
Yeah. Looked like she did a thorough job. Checked the doors. You could see her looking for, checking for traps and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't see anything out of the ordinary. Looked like she was doing a thorough job.
I do comment and say, there's a very faint sound from that door over there, and I point to the door there's a very faint sound from.
Bottom right, as you're looking at it.
Bottom right. Yeah.
To start there, or to end there.
Is there any signs of like moved dust on the ground besides where we've kind of been?
Make a perception or survival.
13.
It's actually not that dusty in this room, strangely. So you don't see a lot of footprints. You can see where you guys have come through and sort of trumped in some dirt from outside.
We brought dust.
How peculiar. How clean this is. Well, are we ready?
I'm going to switch weapons again before he opens the door.
So what have you got now?
Longbow.
Longbow.
Back to my tried and true.
Okay. What's everyone else going with right now?
I'm bowed up.
Okay.
Sword
Flail at the ready.
Shield and hammer.
Okay. So you're gonna open the door?
I am.
Okie doke.
Sorry, Severus, you are what?
Going to open the door.
Okay.
Again with your attitude.
Well, you just...
So you push open the door, and you see a 5-foot wide corridor that ends after about 20 feet.
Light level.
There is no light in there except the light behind you.
If I am to lead, I might make an excessive amount of light. Perhaps Bardot or Eska.
Okay, well, I'll take point.
I'll take last point just in case any flaming skulls
be
materialize
right behind
behind
you.
us.
Just as an FYI, Phil, I've now got umbral vision, so I've got an
Yep.
extra 30 feet.
Yeah, I was looking up earlier to make sure I was aware of your rules.
Yes.
You weirdo.
I've-
You weird rules. Okay, so you can lead the way.
Okay.
Just move yourself a square at a time. For me.
Do.
You
I will
see...
try to be stealthy and, the proper amount of, awesome underground scout ranger type stuff.
You do have some clunkers behind you, but...
I do.
Duly noted.
I do.
So you see another 20 feet of corridor and a turn. You do detect some light spilling through towards the end of that corridor.
I assume everybody is following.
Let's do a group stealth check again right now. Let's see how we're doing here.
Oh, come on.
Being a disadvantage.
12 Silvarius.
2
19.
for Claire.
1.
Okay, well, group check's pretty good.
I'll continue on after stubbing my toe really hard.
You managed to not swear, which is good. Okay, so we're going to stop there. Everyone else, please shuffle up behind Bardor at this time.
I hold up my hand for everybody to stop. And,
Does Silverius see that, or does he just walk into it?
well, one would hope. Keep forgetting that he can't see.
Well,
Yeah.
I can probably see the light spilling in on you
That's
at
fair.
this point.
Here's what you see in front of you. You, with your dark vision, and the fact that you are invisible to creatures that rely on dark vision, you are currently in the dim light, so you are not visible to these creatures. They have not seen you. I don't believe you've encountered these before. Make a sanity roll for me.
18 plus whatever my modifier would be, which would be plus 3. 21.
You have a brief recollection of encountering certain types of undead, but you can't really place it at this moment. But looking in front of you, you do see two very undead creatures just standing there, like as if on sentry duty or something. What you see, there is a large coffin there, obviously, that does appear to have been disturbed. The creature to the north of it, blue-skinned, has a very large tongue hanging from its mouth, and you actually get a brief whiff from where you're standing of its just a really unpleasant smell. I mean, it's really just the stench of death is what it boils down to. The creature on the south side of the coffin, sometimes, I mean, it looks similar, to the other one. It doesn't have that same long tongue, though, but it's also blue-skinned, kind of decaying. That's what you see. Right now, they do not appear to be aware of your presence. They appear to be looking straight forward, and they're not doing anything. You think that they have no idea you're there.
I'm going to whisper. There's a coffin ahead that looks disturbed, and there's two undead guards.
Make another stealth check for me
Sure.
as you whisper back.
11.
They don't seem to notice you say anything.
Okay. I'm going to try to scooch forward.
Okay. And you can see, based on the light that's spilling through, you've got maybe, you can go 5 feet forward more without the light hitting you to where you would know that you're no longer getting enough benefit from the darkness. As long as you stay there, you know that they won't be able to see you.
I am going to... Can I still have Hunter's Mark up, right?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to switch it over to the guy on the left, hoping that the folks behind me are kind of taking my lead. Hunter's Mark, and I'm going to take a shot at it.
Okay. You have advantage, as you are considered invisible right now.
25.
Okay. 25 hits. So that's 10 total. You just take a moment, steady your breath, take a shot, and just skew on right into the knee of this creature. It gives a sort of surprised, what? It is now aware of your presence. At this time, I need everyone to roll initiative again.
13 for me.
18 for Claire.
12 for me.
Claire is going first. How bizarre. No offense.
Not sure how
but
that worked out, but
also offense because, let's be honest. So, Claire, you are first.
So passing through someone is half
Yep.
speed.
So you can get down to that corner because it'll be 10, 20, 25 to get there.
Yeah, she's just gonna wiggle past everybody.
Okay.
Probably saying excuse me along the way.
Probably. Make a religion check for me again, please.
11.
Okay. Looking out, you can see them there. These creatures are quite well illuminated because of the braziers that are in there. They look kind of like ghouls, from what you recall. Though the one with an arrow currently sticking out of it looks slightly different, but you can't quite place why.
Well, seeing the arrow already sticking out of that one, she is gonna fling out her shield in front of her and cast Firebolt. Oh, which only rolled a 7.
Yeah, no, that does not hit, unfortunately. As you kind of... you actually realize that you can't really see where Bardoor is right now either. And so you kind of reach out and you nudge him on the shoulder and it just takes your shot wide and blasts up against the wall ahead of you. With that, it is the top creature's turn. You see both of the creatures have no weapons, no armor. They just seem to have nasty claws. Top one kind of moves forward, stands at the end, just kind of looking, trying to figure out. And he can see you. He saw where that little spark came from, and you see him waiting. And in fact, you barely see him anymore, because he's almost gone around the corner there where you don't have a line of sight. Eska, it is your turn.
I'm just going to hold a shot in case something comes into my view.
Okay.
There's not a lot I can do back here, I don't think.
Badur, your turn.
Well, knowing how bad these fights can be if people are stacked up based upon experience, I'm going to do something that's slightly not smart, but also hopefully tactically helpful. And I'm going to open up the path. I'm going to move next to the brazier on the bottom. And I have the hunter's mark on the one guy, so I'm just going to take another shot at him.
I think you get to swing at you as you come through.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
He's got to. Okay.
So he's just going to slash out a claw at you.
Mm-hmm.
He can see you at this point, so it's just a regular roll. 17 hit?
Yes.
Okay. 7 slashing. And I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
19.
Okay. So as you run past him, you see this sort of blue-gray hand reach out, and it just slashes across your arm. And you feel just this pain surge, and then just for a moment, you find yourself unable to move, and then you shake it off, and you're able to move over to where you've ended up. But you almost lost control of your body for a second there.
Okay.
Make another Constitution saving throw to see if you maintain concentration now.
21.
Yeah, you're fine. Carry on.
Longbow attack. 20.
Yeah, 20 hits.
And 10 damage. And then with the hunter's mark.
There's now another arrow sticking in its other knee. This creature looks rather hobbled at this point. It's not very happy. It's looking pretty rough. Cassette, you're up.
I guess I'm going to dash.
Okay. Make a intelligence or wisdom check for me.
13.
Okay. So just looking at the situation, you know that there's no way Bardoor could have got to where he got to without risking an attack from that creature. So you would reason that it's probably done for this turn.
And I don't think I have any bonus actions. Yeah, I think I'm done after them.
Okay. Silverius back.
Rush around Claire.
Out of the way.
Your mantra.
And come running down the hallway after
Yep.
Cossette, and he whips his sword out and ignites in white flame. In a swing at the 100 marked guy.
While he swings, Cassette, you can also make a religion check for me.
16 to hit.
7 religion.
Yeah, you're not really sure what these are. So Silverius, 16 definitely hits.
9 damage.
9 fire. Yeah, that's a good chunky hit, though. And the room is filled with this smell of disturbing, rotting, burning flesh. Lovely. Any bonus action? Cassette, as you're looking at the creature at the top, the one behind you reaches out and slashes at you from behind.
Yeah, I figured.
Ooh, that is a crit.
Oh, no.
You feel these claws dig into your back and rake down. It is a total of 9 slashing damage. And then I will need you to make a Constitution saving throw, please.
Oof. Ooh,
So as you
17.
shake it off, as it stabs into you, again, much like Bardoor experience, not that you've had a chance to really converse about this, but you feel like everything start to seize up, and then you just mutter a prayer to Eldath, and you feel the strength come back to your muscles. So you're okay for now. Back to top of round. Claire, we're with you.
Okay. She is going to take off after Silverius and kind of get right in the doorway there.
Mhm.
And she's going to hold out her shield again and try it again. She is gonna try to turn undead. Any of them that can see or hear her just needs to make a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. DC, please.
13.
Okay. They actually both pass. Got a 14 and a nat 20.
Boo!
Darn it.
You look at them, and actually you see, so the one at the bottom looked pretty steely the whole time. The one at the top, you thought was about to go. It started to turn and then rallied back around. And looking at it now, you realize it has some sort of resistance to that particular power.
She stomps her foot in frustration.
And the one at the top there just kind of like waggles its tongue at you. And then it looks at Silverius and decides it's going to take a chomp. That is a 22 to hit. Gosh.
Hits.
These dice are rolling very unfortunately for everyone. And that is 10 piercing as these ugly, rotten teeth chomp down into your arm and pierce through the armor. That is its turn. Eska, you're up. You cannot see the one at the top, but you can see the one at the bottom just about. Yeah, you actually pretty much have an unobstructed view to the one at the bottom.
Okay, yeah, I'm just shooting the one at the bottom. 24.
Yeah.
Nice.
Palpable hit.
Woohoo. Let's do some palpable damage. That's going to be 8 piercing damage.
Yeah, solid hit into the right bicep. And you can see as it sort of, given the way that the time actually works in this, it's actually probably still in the process of like bringing its claws back off Cassette's back as you swing around the corner and take your shot. And so it's kind of like just pulling its arm back up for another swing, and you just go right through the middle of the bicep.
Yeah, she feels comfortable in this. This is her kind of situation, so she steps forward and knocks another arrow, ready to continue firing.
Okay. Badur, you're up.
So yeah, I'll shoot the guy at the top.
Okay.
23.
Yeah, 23 hits.
And that's 4 damage, which means it was a 1 rolled. So that's, and then Hunter's Mark, 2.
You've taken 2 shots so far and hit it in both knees. And this one you're like, why do I keep aiming so low? And you just lean back a little bit, take the shot right through the center of the torso. Creature sways for a minute briefly, and then topples over.
I guess I'll transfer the Hunter's Mark over to the other goal.
Okie doke. Cassette, you're up. Out of curiosity, make a Constitution saving throw for me.
Out of curiosity.
Yep. Okay. You would have been fine anyway.
Oh, 17.
So as the creature that was next to you, sort of on the upper edge there, the one that fell, that smell was incredibly intense, and it's already started to dwindle. You were starting to kind of gag a little bit, but you're able to gain control of it, and you're able to take your turn as normal.
Oh, good. Okay. Thank you.
After that cheese this morning, she can take anything.
I'm gonna flail.
Flail away.
Did you say fail?
10.
Yeah, 10 does not hit, unfortunately. You swing around, take a swing, and the flail scratches down the wall next to the creature, the ghoul. Silverius, you're up.
Gonna continue my forward movement and join Cossette and do a quick circular twirl. Blade ignites and strikes out. 21 to hit.
Yep, 21 definitely hits.
4 damage.
4 damage. Okay. Creature is looking pretty shook. It's the flame sort of settled down. You can see it's wavering a little bit now. It reaches out and tries to take a chomp out of Cassette. 16 to hit.
What is my armor class? 18. No, so
Okay.
misses.
So it goes to reach for you, and you're able to just bring your shield up in time and deflect its attempt to bite you. Claire, your turn.
Kind of just angrily mumbling to herself about why these stupid things just won't run away. She's gonna come into the room by the top brazier and just kind of angrily cast another firebolt at the guy down there.
Okay.
Another 7 to hit.
Yeah, it does not hit, unfortunately.
Oh,
Too
my
angry.
God.
Okay, Eska, your turn.
Oh. All right. I just let that next arrow go. That's going to be a 17.
Hits.
Nice. And you shall be taking 10 damage.
Okay. Yeah, so you steady your aim, take a shot, and this one goes right through the neck, and you see the creature sort of... and then it just drops.
I continue my movement forwards, knocking my next arrow just
Okay.
to the side, to the front of the room. I guess the entrance is what I'm looking for.
Okay, Bardur, you focus on your hunter's mark.
Concern.
There's still this weird connection to the creature from above. It's not strong enough to prevent you from focusing on anything else, but there's still that attachment. You have no attachment to anything in this room, though.
How tall is the coffin compared to?
So it's on a slightly raised platform or plinth. So it's like a little 2-foot platform, and then the coffin itself would be maybe about 18 inches or so.
So in theory, I actually would be able to kind of like peer over, I guess, the top.
Sure.
Okay, just barely.
Yeah.
Is it open to disturb in any way?
It is open, and it appears to be empty, which is to say there's no remains in it. Give me an investigation check. At this point, you are out of combat. If someone wishes to assist Bardur, they may, if they have proficiency in investigation.
Yeah,
Or someone else can roll their own investigation check.
Can somebody who's a little bit taller maybe take a look in there?
I'll move out of the way because I'm not very great at this.
I'm okay at it.
Is anybody actually good at this?
I gotta Nope.
We're adventurers, not detectives. What is this?
I'm looking this way.
I mean, I'll try if nobody else.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, Cosette. Have a look, see what you can find.
I'll try. Kind of loose with the word try.
Okay, so
Cater when we need them.
I might have made things worse.
And I'm going to assume there's nothing in there. So
there's something. It's not a lot, but there's something in a little pouch at the foot of the coffin. You find about 35 gold pieces and 1 electrum piece.
And that's half a gold.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. I've counted that wrong. It's not 1 electrum. It's 10 electrum.
Am I putting it in the bag with everybody else's for the group gold?
Fair to say.
yeah, for
It
now,
depends, unless you want to try and pocket it without anybody saying.
If it helps, it was Savaris who found that.
Oh.
Cosette did not find anything.
Oh.
No, not with the third. So I'll just put it with the other group gold. We have 193 gold and 9 silver.
Yeah, so far as he'll just pick it up and kind of like jingle it, peek into it, and toss it to Claire.
Claire,
Not Claire.
I take it from Claire.
Yeah.
it hits her in the face.
I mean,
No, she's busy inspecting her shield for why it's being so defective at repelling things that it's supposed to repel. She's just shaking it, tapping on it.
You know that's not how it works.
Well, something's wrong with it.
The coffin.
Yep.
Does it look fancy?
Not particularly.
Okay.
Based on where you're at, this was probably a memorial for a former priest or something like that.
Okay.
Probably not a very well off one.
So it
What-
looks like it might be of dwarven construction, or like it doesn't look like something that shouldn't be here.
Right. Yes. You think
Okay.
it belongs.
Yeah, is it like dwarf length,
Yes.
dwarf size?
Yeah.
But there was no dwarf in there,
Correct.
and the two creatures didn't look dwarf-sized.
No.
Is
Okay.
there anything now that they're like kind of dead? If we like looked over the bodies, anything on them? Were they completely naked, or was there like
They were wearing
markings,
like sort of
veining?
basic sort of loinclothy type things, and like some other wraps on them. Looking at them now, you recognize the one that was a bit hardier to be a ghast as opposed to a ghoul, kind of like a super ghoul, basically. You remember that both ghasts and ghouls are known for their ability to paralyze people before they chomp down on them. But yeah, there's no gear on them of any sort.
What are their fingers like? Do they have claws at all? Or
Yes, very sharp, unpleasant looking claws.
Eska's going to attempt to remove one or two.
As you try to, they fall apart in your hands. Really unpleasant. Make a Constitution saving throw for me.
That is a 19.
Okay. For a second, that stench you think is just going to overtake you as you're like messing around with the body of the ghast, but you're able to overcome it, and it does not affect you. Very
I've
good.
come across my fair share of undead, so
This is like exceptionally bad though.
okay.
This isn't like your standard smells dead. This is something beyond.
So, is there anything else in the room that looked interesting?
Make a perception check.
23.
Get him.
Okay, so as you're sort of looking around, and you look down the sort of look across the walls, check in the corners and everything, something does catch your eye. Down the corridor where you came, you notice that one section of wall doesn't look quite the same as the others. You look at it and feel it, and you think there might be a door through there. Make an investigation check for me.
As Bardur is walking off, Sylvaris is just curious as to
Where are you heading to? We done in here?
Maybe? Hold on. I think there's a door here.
You actually have to press two different plates, one on either side of the door. Pressing one would not trigger it. You have to press them both simultaneously. You can just about reach. And as you do so, the door shifts down in front of you. You're met with another corridor.
This place is full of surprises.
How long have we been in here now, Phil?
Probably, let's think, maybe 10 minutes. It's not been very long at all.
Right. Shall we continue?
We could check it out real quick.
I am starting to reach the extent of my capabilities.
I'm not quite tapped out yet. I could give you a bit of help.
I would greatly appreciate it.
So yeah,
Could-
Claire will
should-
touch Sylvarius on the arm and cast Cure Wounds for 5.
That feels a bit better.
I'm gonna follow Bardur down this corridor if we're checking it out real quick. Should we check it out real fast before the slightly less quiet members join us?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's at both you roll for stealth, please.
Okay.
Is it dark down this corridor, Phil?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
21. Did you want to lead Esco?
Yeah, sure. 21 for me as well. So I will sneak down, bow drawn, quietly as I can.
Moving very quietly at the moment.
That's right, we are. That's why we left the other guys behind. Just to the... Do I see any light as I approach the corner?
Nope.
Okay, to the corner, and then I shall peek around the corner.
Okay. You see
Aha!
another corner.
I've sort of held my hand up briefly, and then I start moving forwards again and do a keep coming. I head down this way. Any light around the corner?
Nope. Bardor, you're starting to understand Eska's symbols now.
Good.
Kind of working on that. Been around together a while now.
So at the end of this corridor, I do a throat-slitting motion. Okay, I'm going to peek around this corner as well.
Okay. See another door. Well, yeah. As you look around, you see what looks like a wall, but based on your passive, you can see that it's not just a wall.
Is it another sort of, like, in theory, stony door type contraption?
Correct.
I guess I will give him the come on motion. I guess I'll have a quick sort of check at the door, see if it looks okay, if anything sounds are coming through at all.
Give me a
before we head
perception.
back. That's gonna be... Oh, my perception is the worst today. That's gonna be I guess a natural one, so 1 or 4, depending.
So you have your ear pressed up against the door,
Mm-hmm.
and you're listening intently, and you hear a steady beat. And as you listen, it seems to get a little faster.
Uh-huh. I mean, my instinct would be to pull away from the door if that happened. I don't know if that...
And then it goes
time for
completely
that.
quiet. And then you stick
on
your
a
ear
second.
against the wall again,
Uh-huh.
and the beat's there again.
Is this my pulse?
Yeah, you're hearing your own blood going through your ear. You realize that eventually.
I spend 30 minutes doing this.
It seems like this door is muffling whatever may or may not be on the other side.
I guess I shrug back at Bardur and motion, sort of point backwards and see what he thinks.
So I see what you mentioned. I'm just like, I just point towards it, and then I disappear for a second, and then I just lean around the corner and just say, Silverius, come on up.
Walk around the corner. And as I'm walking down, he sheaths his sword, pulls the blade out just a little bit, and casts light on the blade itself to give just enough to see where I'm going down the hallway.
Yeah, I'll follow too.
More corridors.
Let's have you three make stealth checks, please.
Why do we take them anywhere, Bud?
We really need to tape that stuff down before we.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty
15.
14.
I think mine's better.
I mean, as a team, you got 21, 21, 15, 14, and, 4. But I mean, that's pretty good going. You're pretty stealthy.
I guess I'm sort of... I can probably hear that they're not making too much noise either. And
Yep.
I'm
Correct.
just going to... Does this door open in a way that is familiar?
You saw how Bardor opened the first one. This looks like it would be similar construction.
I attempt to just sort of nudge it a little open, if that's possible.
That would not be possible.
Is it
Would
just
it-
an all or nothing situation?
With this door, you would have to push the 2 panels on the side of the wall, and in doing so, it would cause the door to drop, as the other one did. It, slid down into the ground.
Okay, I'm doing it. Because it's going to be... Eska doesn't, appear cowardly. She opens the door
Okay.
in the last
Um,
mistake of her life.
Here's what happens then. So as the door drops down, you see a large room opening up in front of you.
Okay. Oh, that's large.
So, in the center of the room, there on the floor, in blood, there is a large ritual circle that has been drawn out. Standing just to the east of this circle is a half-rotten dwarf. In one hand, a dagger. In the other hand, not quite sure what it is, some sort of figurine maybe. On the east wall, there are 2 sarcophagi that appear to be intact. 4 columns support the wall. There are sconces on the 4 cardinal directions, like attached to that are bathing the whole room in dim light. It's like the torch light somehow isn't spreading as far as you would expect, but the room is in dim light. There are piles of bones scattered around the outskirts of the room. As the door shifts down, the dwarf looks over at you and mutters something in a language you do not understand. Bardur, you would understand this. This is Undercommon. I don't know if anyone else speaks Undercommon. If you do, you would understand this too. But he says, well, I didn't expect you to come through there. You see him start to cast something. I need everyone to roll initiative.
Here we go again.
Phil, do I not have the chance to just say, whoopsie, wrong door, I was looking for the bathroom. I'll be heading back.
Hold on. Let me roll for whoopsie bathroom. Oh, I rolled really high against that. I'm afraid I rolled a 17. So, no, that does not work.
James, I feel like we swapped dice tonight.
I mean, good.
All right, let's see. Well, yeah, Bardo rolling very high. You are currently in the dark, just so you know.
Excellent.
Claire with a 16, are you kidding me?
I know. Like,
What on earth? Cassette, I appreciate you sticking to type. And, well, Silveris, that's pretty standard too for a fighter. That's okay.
Yeah, I actually think I would be able to see that guy from where I'm at.
Yeah, from there, you absolutely can. You just had to take that step 5 forward.
I can only apologize to everyone for opening the door.
Secret doors, not always a good thing.
Just gonna check the corridor, he said.
Well,
Now I will say, in fairness, I am glad I did not just open the door before letting you guys know what was happening. So at least you guys are close by.
You can all die together.
Yeah.
Okay. Bardur, it is your turn. You have moved 5 feet.
and I'm going to longbow.
Let's go one
Actually,
shot.
Hold on, before I do that, I'm going to do Hunter's Mark on that guy.
Is there anybody else that we can see currently, or that I can see currently?
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, I should say he's staring over at Eska right now. You do have advantage because you are considered invisible. Yes.
18.
Yep, 18 hits.
Okay, 6 damage, and then would this actually be a new round of combat?
Yep, this is a new round of combat.
Sweet. All right, so the Dread Ambusher first.
So some rogue stuff going on here.
Yeah.
Imagine if he was a rogue,
Oof.
throwing some sneak attack damage on top of all that.
Right, so that is, well, that's 20 damage, isn't it? No, it's nearly 20. It's 19 damage. So from out of the shadows, you fire this shot. It clatters into this bedraggled, decaying dwarf and strikes him firmly in the chest. You get the feeling maybe that didn't do as much damage as it should have. And actually, as you look at him, you see what skin is there seems to have hardened. Hard to explain, especially from this range. It's difficult to see properly, even with your superior vision. Still a little tricky just because you're far away.
Those are columns, the white things, right?
Those are columns, and they have little torches on like each of the cardinal directions that's casting out dim light in the entire room.
If I can, I'll take cover behind the one on the left.
It is the
And that's
dwarf's
it.
turn. He rolled very high, I'm afraid. Let me roll a con save for him, since technically he started casting a spell. And he lost concentration because he got shot. So it's going to cost him another spell slot because he's going to cast it again. Around him, you see the piles of bones start to shift as he chants. You see 2 piles of bones rise up, dwarven skeletons, pretty much exactly what they look like. If you had to say, if someone asked you and said, hey, what would you call those things? You say, well, they kind of look like skeletal dwarfs, dwarven skeletons. That's about the size of it. He's not moving. He seems to want to stay near his circle there. Claire, it is your turn.
She's gonna again wiggle past Cassette and Silverius, and on her way past, she's gonna bless Cassette, Silverius, and herself.
On herself, Cosette, and Silverius?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just want it to be known that this needs a sprinkling of holy water, Claire.
I can use a holy symbol to cast anything as a token,
I'm just
as
saying.
long as it doesn't have a GP amount.
Somebody's holding out on us, that's all I'm saying.
I think she's got like a cork in the top of her shield with some holy water in it.
Yeah, right?
Definitely.
Okay. Is that your turn?
Yep, that's all she can do for now.
You should carry around a flask with holy water.
Taking
Okay.
shots of holy water.
Eska. So you heard him chanting and heard the sound of bones shifting. You do not have eyes on the skeletons immediately, but you can make an intuitive leap and think they might be there.
Knowing that she's kind of blocking up the door, seeing that Bardo headed round to the side, she is going to take a bonus action and just mutter to herself and shift her hands like almost imperceptibly quick and cast Expeditious Retreat.
Mm-hmm.
And then she is going to
Which I'm
step
pretty sure
in.
means you are concentrating.
It does indeed.
And you're very fast.
Yeah, she kind of like takes a moment to kind of look around, and she's going to dash all the way across to this pillar.
Okay.
Fire off a shot at
Okay.
the dwarf, and then afterwards she's going to. Can I step on that pile of bones?
Mm-hmm.
And she's just gonna, like, afterwards move out. She's gonna kind of fire as she goes, and then step behind the pillar.
Yeah, sure. Nothing bad can happen to you there.
I'm just trying to use logic. I'm not saying it'll help. So that's going to be a 19.
19 hits.
8 piercing damage. Which doesn't do as much damage as I think it's going to.
Correct. Actually, Karong. That does full
Oh,
damage.
really? Oh.
Karong.
I used to read Karong. Do you remember?
I do. Yeah, so you zip across like lightning, and a shot goes into the left shoulder of this creature, and he lets out the ah, and yeah, finds a nice chunky, fleshy part of shoulder there. And Bardor, you see as that hits, the what looked like that hard skin seems to have softened. Not quite sure what was going on there, but it does not look like it did.
That's me done.
That's you done? Okay. It's the skeleton's turn now. They're just going to each take a slash with their short swords. These two dwarves. Okay, well, it's a 19 and a 17.
Yeah, they both hit.
Oh.
So the first one 7 damage. Second one does 6 damage. No kidding. Wow.
Well,
So,
I'm a little woozy.
yeah, you other guys, you heard, well, like Claire, you would have seen this one skeleton, just this one skeletal dwarf just come across, sword raised, and then there's just this pause for a moment, and then you hear Bardur shriek as he gets jabbed quite painfully by 2 skeletons simultaneously.
A manly shriek.
Obviously.
Obviously.
Cassette, you are up.
Okay, I guess I'm gonna push through everybody.
This corridor situation is rough.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that to my players.
Never.
Nope.
Okay, I'm gonna chuck a javelin at the dude.
Yeah.
The dwarf guy.
Yeah, that's 30 feet as you
The
come through.
non-skeleton dwarf guy.
I mean, he's partially skeletal, if that helps.
Oh, it does.
Ooh, that was a good call.
Nice.
Very good.
Natural
F-
20.
Okay, thank you for the viewers at home who are listening. I heard what I said. I stand by it.
You saw what you said.
Shut it.
Wow, really
Oh.
just great damage. So, a 1 and a 2 on my d6s, and then +4 is 7.
Okay. Nevertheless, I mean, 7 damage is not to be sneezed at. I mean, that just hits him like flush in the thigh, and he's not a fan. And you can see he's looking pretty shook right now. Severius, you're up.
All right. Hearing all this commotion and gonna run around the corner, get as far as I can. Seeing Bardur in trouble. Another dude kind of far away. Gonna light my sword on fire and strike at this here skeleton.
Okay, go for it.
13 plus a d4 if I need it.
13 hits.
Okay. That'd be 10 fire damage on the first skeleton.
Whew. Okay, yeah, that does big time damage. That skeleton, I mean, you basically chopped off his shield arm there, and took a couple of ribs with it. He's barely holding himself together, and you can see the dwarf. Well, let's call a spade a spade. The dwarf necromancer over there. He's not happy about that whatsoever.
Is it now like a lot lighter in here as well?
There was light cast on the sword,
Sword,
I believe.
right?
Oh yeah, my sword it's actually real bright now because
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna action surge now. So after that one swing, not felling the skeleton, there's a frustrated and gonna keep on attacking this one skeleton with 15 to hit,
Yeah.
6 damage.
So you go through with the first blade and pluck out some ribs and cut off an arm, and the second one you just come through and chop its head off, and it just
then-
collapses back into rubble on the ground.
After that, my head turns towards the necromancer. He's,
You.
and he sprints at him. Boom, 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 boom.
He kind of chuckles and licks his lips as you run towards him. Bardur, back to the top of the round. It's your turn.
Excellent. I have a healing potion that I think I'm going to use.
Might be wise.
Yeah. So it's just a regular one.
And just for the people who don't have vision right now, how many hit points are you on before the potion?
I am on 1.
Jolly good.
Oh.
So 2d4 plus 2.
Yep.
7.
Okay, not bad.
I hate to
Alright,
ask
I'm-
this,
Yes.
but is your I know you got hit twice last turn.
Oh, good point. Yeah, 2 con saves, please.
Oh, okay.
It's so hard to keep up with.
Yeah, it is.
It's bad enough when you're just a player with just 1.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
11.
good. 10 is your number to beat.
Bad, then no.
Oh.
And it's gone.
Okay, Hunter's Mark drops.
Oddly enough, this makes me feel a little bit better about what I'm about to do.
So you still have a bonus action.
Okay. I think I'm just going to stay where I'm at.
It is Necromancer's turn. And he looks up quite a long way towards the probably quite aggressive eyes of Silverius. He says, "You picked the wrong day to mess with Grogmere." And he reaches out to touch you, but only gets an 11 to hit.
I wasn't holding my breath. That's a miss.
It is. He's not happy about that.
I swat his hand with my sword.
The wrong day is for you, my friend.
Man, there's not a lot he can do right now. Okay, Claire, you're up.
All right. Claire takes a deep breath and then barrels past Cassette with her shield up and is gonna cast Guiding Bolt straight at the Necromancer.
Okay. Oh my goodness.
So, that was a 10, but I get a D4.
I feel it was an 11, right? Just misses.
Oh.
There is. So this bolt comes across, and there's this shimmer about him. You know, he's just in sort of like tatty robes, but there's some sort of arcane ripple as it actually hits him, but it doesn't damage him. It like disperses across this arcane ripple. Silverius, you would recognize that actually. That would be mage armor that you're seeing that's protecting him.
Yeah.
Eska.
Eska will pop her head back around the pillar and fire another shot and duck back behind the pillar.
Okay.
26 to hit.
That misses.
Rats.
Just kidding.
So that is going to be 11 piercing damage in the
Yikes.
back. My rolls have turned around.
Yeah, as you say, it's a shot in the back, and it. Well, yeah, that hits all right, and he's not looking so good. Full damage.
Alrighty, nice. That's pretty much all I do. I'm just kind of ducking in and out of the pillar.
Skeleton's turn. As the first one starts to swing at Bardor, the remaining piles of bones start to move. And Eska, you find yourself with a slight conundrum here. So this one pops up right next to you.
I like to think that I stand on its head so it doesn't know I'm there.
Yeah, no, it knows you're there. And it's going to take a swing at you. So, I got a stab on Bardor. 17 to hit.
Yeah.
Would you believe it? 7 piercing. Cannot keep a
8 minus 7.
cannot keep a dwarf down or get a dwarf down. Stab at Claire. Well, that is a crit for 24 to hit,
Yeah, definitely.
but really bad damage roll. Only 5 piercing.
Okay, I will take that.
Rolled a 2 and a 1 on the dice. Stab on Silverius. 19 to hit.
God, just hit.
That is 4 piercing.
Okay.
Stab on Eska. 9 to hit.
Jeez.
Eska's moving too fast.
Eska is moving way too fast. Okay. It's the skeleton's turn. Cassette, you're up.
I'm gonna move past the skeleton to get to the dude.
Okay.
So I'm gonna move through.
Stab on Cassette.
space.
10 to hit. Carry on.
Thank you. All right, flail. 16.
Hits.
All right, I will divine.
Yeah!
+4, so 9.
Okay.
And then the smite does 18.
Oh my
I'm sorry. Is it undead? Okay, then it does 18.
Oh boy.
radiant damage.
Oh my goodness.
You come rushing through. Just shrug off the attempted stab from the skeleton. You just bring down with distinct prejudice, right down on top of this. Let's face it. I mean, he's shorter than you. He's a dwarf, and just like you can press him into the ground.
Nice.
Just absolute, just like, and there's just a smear and fractured bones all over the ground. Yeah, he's all kinds of dead. Had 13 hit points left and just a 23.
Huzzah.
As he dies, the skeletons that he had summoned crumple back down onto the ground. Everything goes eerily quiet for a moment as the necromancer falls. You kind of take a breath, waiting for the next thing to happen, but nothing does.
I'm gonna wearily stagger over towards the corpse of the necromancer, and I spit on his body. A disgrace.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
Claire would like to stomp on the skeleton's head that's in front of her out of just pure frustration.
Yeah, you stump.
Can I see what's down the end there?
There is a corridor.
Oh no.
I turned.
Now, does this death ritual circle look like a good place to rest?
Set our bedrolls up.
Comfy.
Make a perception check
That-
I wasn't ready for that response.
or survival, either. Or.
Oh, not bad. 14.
Okay.
You're... Oh wait, it's a saving throw. Never mind. I was gonna say you're still blessed.
You listen for a moment. You look around. You think for now the danger may have passed. Though you're obviously very aware that while this threat's been resolved, you may not have taken care of everything here.
Oh, there is that. If we take a rest, that flaming skull's going to come back.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
I-
But this is much bigger than
Yeah.
than it looked like on the outside, so I think we might run that risk anyway.
Well, it's kind of what. Do we want to fall back, regroup, or do we want to just keep plodding forward?
We're not in the best condition for...
Well, I know.
Not going to
I
die.
feel
I could use a rest.
I agree, but I mean, I didn't know if this is something that
Yeah.
we wanted to go back to town
Oh.
for something.
Oh,
I'm
you're wondering
advocating.
about picking up some holy water.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not necessarily advocating for it, but it's just a general question.
I think we'd probably have to fight the Flaming Skull again anyway.
Whatever we do.
Like, I don't think we can get there and back with holy water before something
Yeah.
happens. So we'd have to fight it
I
again.
agree. I
anyway.
feel like we're gonna have to fight it.
We could
I've
make
got-
our way outside. Camp in the woods.
I've got 10 minutes of expeditious retreat left. Maybe I could get back to town.
I cast Longstrider on her.
Run fast.
Meow.
Now, going and getting holy water and then coming back with it, it could be that the Flaming Skull isn't the only thing that would be good to, help.
Yeah.
Do we, I guess, Barter, you would know the town. Is there a place to get holy water pretty easily? Is that like a common thing to just go to them to the Walgreens? And
I mean, the shrine will probably sell that for you.
yeah,
Seems the sort of thing they would do. Go ahead and make a religion check. We'll do Claire, Bardor, and Cassette. Bardor with disadvantage, though, please.
23.
Four-
See,
14.
religion check I can roll good on. An actual attack? No.
Okay, so even Bardor, with your hesitant approach to religion, it's clear to you that this has been very much desecrated, and you actually think you recognize the name Grogmir, which is what he called himself briefly before he was summarily dispatched. He was a former priest of Moradin, but something turned him, clearly turned him to the dark. Taking a moment, you can see the circle that's being laid out here. Claire, you would see this, but again, only from reading. This is not something you would have ever encountered. He has been creating some sort of... You're not quite sure if it's a summoning circle or if it's a some sort of weird like blood magic ritual thing. Certainly the intent is to create some sort of very unholy, probably undead, possibly undead and fiendish creature. You imagine he was probably going to go on some sort of rampage with it once he'd figured out how to complete that task. The skeletons that are now littering the ground look like they are what sort of ragtag clothing is there. Also look like they may have been former priests, though you get the impression that they're just shells at this point. They were not acting freely. They were very much puppets for Grogmir.
I've interrupted many undead ritual site in my time.
Mm-hmm.
Do I I guess my thought would be to try and undesecrate this. Would I have any knowledge of what was needed for that from prior experience?
Well, ironically, a certain amount of holy water would probably be beneficial.
I feel like the blood needs clearing away. The blood circle needs...
Correct. Claire, you know that your spell, Ceremony, could be used to help cure it back up again. Also, you know that you have the ability to create holy water if you know the spell, or if you have the spell prepared.
I do know it. Don't have it prepared.
Does take an hour to cast, plus an extra 10 minutes.
Is that the one with the costly component?
25 gold worth of powdered silver.
Yeah.
It seems like it might be a good time for a wedding, though.
2 birds with 1 stone.
Yeah, anybody?
But yeah,
as-
so
I feel like Marion Cossette right now, the way she handled that priest.
Yeah.
essentially, yes, you could come back here with the sufficient components, and you feel like you could do some sort of ritual ceremony thing here to remove the this stench of undeath. Yeah.
So Eska will say, I've seen this type of thing before. We probably should head back to the temple, get some holy water. There's always a chance that they will re-manifest themselves. Perhaps if we head to the temple, they will be willing to give us the holy water as we are doing their work. But we should, I feel we should maybe take a brief rest in town, but I would prefer to come back today before evil takes its hold back.
I am for the cleansing of this place.
I as well.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm too, but I'm tapped out, and a short rest won't restore any of my magic. I can cleanse the place, but I need a night.
Very well.
Is there remnants of the priest?
Yeah.
Do not feel we should leave any remnants behind. Don't give anything a source to return to.
He's a little hard to pick up.
Then we burn him and the rest of these bodies in here.
Hey Phil, is it possible to determine if the necromancer came from that coffin?
I mean, it's about the right height, but beyond that, kind of hard to say.
Gotcha. Did he seem like he was undead per se, or just?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, he was very undead.
Did anybody search him? We should, perhaps
yeah.
before we burn him, we should just
Let's take a look.
see what he's carrying.
Okay, give me an investigation check.
Are you assisting Silvarius? Do you want to roll as well?
I got a decent roll with it.
Both go ahead and roll then.
Nope.
Okay. So, you kind of pat down as best you can. It's not very easy on account of it's kind of squishy in places and bone in others. You do find on him, weirdly, you find a place where a coin purse may have hung, which leads you to believe maybe what you found in the coffin could have been his. The dagger was mundane and fairly uninteresting. Now that you get a closer look, you do see it was like an arcane focus in his hand, or divine focus rather. I forgot.
Like a holy symbol?
Yeah, looks like an anvil, basically, that has some tiny runes on it. And looking at the runes, kind of glow a little bit.
Can I take a look at that?
Sure.
Do I recognize anything on it for Claire? If I show it to Claire as well.
You would both recognize this as a holy symbol of Moradin. Something feels a little off about it. As you're holding it, Bardor, kind of just feels kind of unpleasant. Makes you kind of uncomfortable while you're holding it.
Do I get such an uneasy feeling that I wouldn't want to have it on my person?
Make a sanity check.
22.
You don't like it, but you can stand to have it, but it just makes you feel off when you're holding it. Nothing more than that. It just feels weird.
I kind of hold it up and say, I'd like to take this back to Kaylee.
I worry about what it could do.
What do you mean?
What if he takes it, says he will destroy it, but it somehow eats into him as well, corrupts him?
And my hope was more that we could cleanse this as well, if it's possible. It's a shame that this has been desecrated the way it has. And I'd like to do what I could to, reclaim it. But if it needs to be destroyed, then so be it. I feel Moradin would prefer something to be destroyed than it be corrupted.
If Claire took a closer look at it, would she be able to discern if it's something that could be cleansed?
Make a religion check. Yeah.
15.
You think there's a chance, but you're not sure. You're not sure that it necessarily has anything. That there's anything actually amiss with it. Like you, like it. Do you like take it and hold it?
Yeah.
As soon as you do, Bardor, you feel fine. Now, Claire, you get that same unease, but you also feel you're more kind of attuned to this sort of thing. You feel like there's a certain amount of power that this can offer, not necessarily maliciously or not. You're not sure, but like as you kind of hold your one of your your focuses and then compare it to this one feels a little more potent somehow. At the same time, you feel kind of squiffy. I need you to make me a sanity check as well, please.
Mine is a 2, I think.
Yeah, you hold it for about like 15 seconds, and then you can't hold it anymore. It just feels wrong. It just, something about it just it makes you so uneasy that you don't want to hold it anymore.
She kind of scrunches up her face and just looks away from it and holds it back out to Bardor. Just kind of shoves it at him.
I'll take it back, and I'll ask Cassetta, can you take a look at it? See if you're getting this strange, uneasy feeling that we are. I want to know if this, is this dwarf related? Are we?
Sure.
You take it?
Yeah, I put my hand out.
Sanity check.
So I have a 13, so the modifier is just a +1.
Yep.
Cool.
So 20 + 1.
You feel the unpleasantness coming from it, and you feel that power again. And again, you have your own symbol. This feels more than, but it feels creepy too.
So should I hang on to it?
It's up to you.
Eska's looking very disapproving during this entire
Really?
exchange.
I don't mind just putting it away to have someone else look.
I would prefer not to hang on to it.
I don't feel comfortable just having it laying around here.
It shouldn't stay here.
I'll take it.
Yeah, let's consult, see if anybody at the shrine may have some insight into any of this.
And so, what's the plan right now?
They were trading that around. Could I have been collecting all the skeleton bodies and making a pile?
Oh yeah, sure, no problem.
Whilst he's doing that, I actively take out an unlit torch, drop it on the necromancer, and just gesture at it to light it.
Okay, sure enough, his body burns.
I throw the skeletons on that pile.
The circle on the ground is it magic or is it just blood?
It's a bit of both.
Okay. Even if it doesn't get rid of the magic part, Claire is going to, foot by foot, while the bodies are burning, at least prestidigitate the blood off of the ground.
Okay. And yeah, as it comes up, you see that there's definitely something left behind that your spell is not able to remove.
Yeah.
So what's going on with the sarcophagi that are over on the right hand side?
Yeah.
Have they been tampered with at all?
No, as far as you can tell, no.
Anything particularly notable about them?
Looking at them, looks like they are, again, older priests or clerics of Moradin, dating back 400 or 500 years.
I mean, I obviously am not really attuned to the religion and stuff, but do we know what this room was originally intended for, potentially? Or I'll ask that to... does anybody know what this room would have originally been used for?
Before
It's like a tomb to me.
Depending on the rank of whoever's in those sarcophagi, it might have been a temple, prayer, meditation.
Temple under a forge.
Dwarves do like forges and being underground.
I'm not familiar with their kind. I trust your judgment on the matter.
I mean, it is pretty whimsical. They did shape the whole place like an anvil.
So let's leave it right here, as you guys are just about to leave the underground area. Who knows what will happen as you try to leave? I mean, who knows what might happen when you try to leave?
Now,
Was that more casual? That didn't seem more casual, to be honest.
just a logistics question, Phil.
Yeah.
If we head back to town and long rest,
Mhm.
well, would we be able to long rest? Or are we going to have to wait till the end of the day, probably, and then come back tomorrow?
It'll probably be close to the end of the day anyway by the time you get back,
Okay.
because it's a good few hours travel.
Okay.
Silverius might need to carry Bardor back to town.
Yeah.
I might be a pint or two short,
You're about 7 pints short.
and I'm not talking about booze.
Although that too. I don't know how none of you dropped, honestly. That guy did not get his meanest stuff off. If he'd have hit on that one attack, ooh,
I'm sure it would have been bad.
I knew it was gonna hurt because Phil was so disappointed when it didn't hit. Like he was like looking. I could hear you looking for some way to make that make a re-roll or something.
Yeah. Well, so here's the thing. Not only would it have messed up Silverius, it would have healed him.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that would have been cool. We'd be dead, but it'd be cool.
Yeah.
Don't cheer them on.
Bad for Silverius. Would have been great for Grogmere. Full name Grogmere the Rotting, but he didn't get a chance to properly monologue.
New name Grog Smear.
Harsh but fair.
Thank you very much for joining us. Well, that was nice, wasn't it? Nice little dungeon crawl, necromancer, secret doors, all the wonderful trappings of a classic D&D adventure. Oh, and of course, the return of pocket cheese. Now, the real question is, what happened to the pocket cheese? Answers on a postcard, please. Send it to Fables from the Pickled Quipper, the Pickled Quipper, Delzimer, Faerun. Thank you. Join us next time for more Fables from the Pickled Quipper. Until then, bye-bye.